Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, sa ating mga kababayan, sa mga kaibigan natin sa media at sa mga bayani nating mga frontliners. Kahapon po, ibinalita natin na i-extend po ang Enhanced Community Quarantine or ECQ hanggang sa katapusan ng buwan sa buong Luzon. We wish to reiterate that the ECQ covers the regions of Luzon. For areas outside Luzon, such as regions in Mindanao and the Visayas, local government units have the discretion to implement community quarantines if they deem necessary. Basta makipag-coordinate lamang sila sa DILG at sa Department of Health. The extension of the ECQ means that for the next few weeks, we will be dependent on our frontliners and relying on them for our health, safety, and security. While the majority of us are at home, we will be relying on them to go to work. Our only limitation is that a few of us can go out only to continue buying food and other essential medicines. Napakalaki po ng hinihingi ng taong bayan sa ating mga frontliners. Paulit-ulit nating sinasabi at hindi tayo magsasawang ulitin na sila ay tunay na bayani. They are our real-life heroes, our real-time heroes. It is truly appropriate, therefore, that tomorrow, on National Heroes Day, we honor all of them with a simple gesture of gratitude that we hope to carry on for the duration of the ECQ. Every day, beginning tomorrow, we urge our countrymen to go to their doorways or their windows to applaud the medical workers, police, military, skeletal workforces from the private and public sectors, LGU employees distributing relief goods, and to the members of the media. Inaanyayahan po namin ang ating mga kababayan. Simula bukas, National Heroes Day, at hanggang sa katapusan ng ating ECQ, tuwing sasapit ang alas 4 ng hapon, pumunta po tayo sa ating mga pintuan at bintana at palakpakan po natin ang ating mga bayani na nagtatrabaho sa ating mga frontlines. Sa mga gusto na mas modern na approach, pwede rin po tayo mag-share ng videos via Facebook, Instagram, o kahit TikTok tuwing alas 4 ng hapon. Pwede tayo kumanta, sumayaw, para sa ating mga frontliners para ipakita natin ang ating pagmamahal sa kanila at mapadalhan natin sila ng good vibes sa napaka-challenging na panahong ito. In the weeks that we have confronted this challenge before us, we have all been witnesses to acts of generosity and charity that have shown the true spirit of bayanihan. Nakita natin kung gaano ka mapagbigay ang mga Pilipino. May mga artists at designers na ginagamit ang kanilang mga talento para lumikha ng mga PPEs para sa ating mga medical frontliners. May mga awit na nag-fundraising, campaign sa Facebook, pinakita nila na kung may work from home, meron din naman concert from home. These are just some of the shining examples of generosity that have been displayed during these trying times. And these artists are not alone. Even our armed forces, personnel who have been on the front lines of government to keep us safe and secure, have decided to give more than their fair share to help our kababayans in need. Kahapon po, si AFP spokesperson Marine Brigadier General Edgard Arevalo announced that each regular member of the AFP from the highest ranking general to the lowest ranking personnel, will donate an amount based on a certain percentage of their respective base pays for the month of May. According to General Arevalo, these deductions that will be donated will be equitable according to rank. For example, si AFP Chief of Staff General Felimon June Santos Jr. will give the biggest contribution of 10,484 pesos, while the AFP's lowest-ranking soldiers, privates, airmen, or apprentice seamen will be donating 100 pesos. Since their salaries for the month of April are already out for payment, the donation, deductible from their base pays for the month of May, will be available by the 3rd week of April. Sa ating mga bayani, mula sa sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas, maraming salamat po. Kayo na ngayon nasa front lines, nagsasakripisyo ng inyong buhay. Kayo po ay namamahagi ng sweldo. Salamat po. Dahil po tatagal ang ating ECQ hanggang April 30, tututukan po ng pamahalaan ang pag-abot ng tulong pinansyal sa ating mga kababayan na nangangailangan. Government will endeavor to help everyone, and those of our countrymen who need the assistance most must get the most help. A major component of government's efforts to help our underprivileged families is its social amelioration program. The DSWD recently gave an update on NCR releases of subsidies under the Emergency Subsidy Program and reports that its NCR field office has already facilitated the issuance of checks for the month of April 2020 for the following Metro Manila LGUs that have already completed their requirements, namely, the City of Manila, 1.48 billion pesos. City of Parañaque, 621.39 million pesos. Caloocan, 1.72 billion pesos. Marikina, 449.88 million pesos. Pasig, 750.93 million pesos. Quezon City, 3.02 billion pesos. Mandaluyong, 368.37 million pesos. Muntinlupa, 430.68 million pesos. And Taguig, 739.97 million pesos. Parañaque has already begun distributing the subsidies to target families beginning last Friday, while Manila City began implementation on Monday. As of Monday, 16 Metro Manila LGUs have complied with the requirements and are ready to implement the SAP or Social Amelioration Program before the Holy Week break, with one NCR LGU committing to comply with the requirements by April 7. Per the DSWD, all Metro Manila LGUs have agreed to submit the list of families not included in the initial list of beneficiaries at the soonest possible time. The DSWD NCR Field Office has already established 17 SAP monitoring teams to supervise the full implementation of the first tranche of the SAP, and it has requested Land Bank to open on Saturdays to facilitate SAP implementation for the 17 NCR LGUs even on weekends. Para naman po sa regular at non-regular na manggagawa, nire-report po ng Department of Labor and Employment na 139,003 regular at non-regular formal workers na naapektuhan ng enhanced community quarantine ang nakinabang na po sa kanilang COVID-19 Adjustment Measures Program o CAMP. Sa ilalim ng CAMP, makakatanggap ang formal workers ng one-time 5,000 pesos na cash aid. Ngayon, para lang matugunan ang mga concerns ng mga employers, sinasabi po ni Secretary Bello na ang impormasyong isusumite ng mga employer kaugnay nito ay hindi isa sa publiko at hindi maaring magamit laban sa kanila kahit kailanman. Ito po ay para mahikayat ang mga kumpanya na magsumite na ng kanilang mga report para mabigyan ng tulong ang ating mga manggagawa. Secretary Bello also announced that DOLE is no longer strictly requiring the submission of the company payroll in the establishment report. Any proof of payment of salaries and wages will be sufficient compliance with the requirement. In addition to this, DOLE field offices will continue processing establishment reports even during the Holy Week to speed up the processing of assistance. And we have entered into an agreement with the Land Bank of the Philippines for the expeditious release and remittance of funds through their branches and authorized and automated teller machines or ATMs nationwide. Bukas po ang ating mga DOLE offices kahit ngayong Holy Week para maproseso ang mga CAMP applications po ninyo. Aside from the financial assistance being extended to our countrymen who need it, we wish to reiterate that the government and private sector have suspended payments and waived fees for payments that fall within the quarantine period. Ang pagbayad ng mga utilities po natin, pagbayad sa upa, housing loans sa Pag-ibig, at iba pa ay pwedeng ipaubayam muna hanggang pagkatapos ng ECQ. Di po kayo kailangan maglabas ng pera para magbayad sa inyong upa, housing loans at utility bills. Everything now is in a state of suspended animation. Kasama po dito ang pagbayad ng buwis, pag-renew ng lisensya, pagrehistro ng sasakyan, pag-renew ng prangkisa ay inextend po ng walang penalty. Even the Government Service Insurance System or GSIS has announced that it will grant a 3-month moratorium on the payment of loans of its members and pensioners as a result of the ECQ. May 3-month moratorium na po para sa mga GSIS loans natin. Malaking tulong po ito para sa mga empleyado ng gobyerno na nagbabayad ng loans sa GSIS. As of yesterday afternoon, our country currently has 3,764 confirmed cases of COVID-19 nationwide. Nabanggit ko na po dati na sinabi ni PhilHealth, sabi ng PhilHealth na sasagutin po nila ang gastusin ng mga kababayan natin na na-ospital dahil sa sakit ng COVID-19. Mula testing hanggang hospitalization. The approved benefit packages for the spectrum of care for COVID-19 patients to cover the cost of treatment for all COVID-19 are as follows. Para sa testing, COVID-19 or SARS-CoV-2 testing, 8,150 pesos, all components covered by the package. 5,450 pesos if the test kits are donated. 2,710 PRC testing unbundled. Para po yan sa COVID testing. Community isolation, 22,449 pesos with LGU overhead. Mild pneumonia for elderly, 43,997 pesos. Moderate pneumonia, 143,267 pesos. Severe pneumonia, 333,519 pesos. Critical pneumonia, 786,384 pesos. PhilHealth shall cover all COVID-19 tests conducted outside hospitals or in non-hospital facilities such as laboratories, provided that the facilities are accredited by the Research Institute for Tropical Medicine or RITM. These benefit packages shall be reviewed within 30 days from the date of implementation in order to adjust the rates if necessary. Isa pong major concern dahil sa extension ng ECQ ay ang supply ng pagkain at essential goods sa ating mga merkado. Patuloy pong igigiit ng gobyerno ang tuloy-tuloy na daloy ng mga kargamento sa ating mga lansangan. Tuloy po ang pakikipag-ugnayan ng DILG sa ating mga frontliners sa mga kalsada para matiyak na tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng kargo sa ating mga checkpoint. Consistent with these efforts, the Philippine Ports Authority or PPA recently issued Memorandum Circular Number 14 Series of 2020 that states that, quote, and I quote, truck drivers and helpers shall be allowed unhampered access to and from the ports to enable them to proceed to their final destination, subject only to safety and health measures being implemented by the PPA, end of quote, which include thermal scanning, disinfection, and referral of symptomatic persons to the DOH or LGU Health Office. Nabanggit ko po kanina na may mga ahensya ng gobyerno na tuloy-tuloy po ang trabaho sa Holy Week. Kasama po dito ang National Food Authority or NFA. Ina-announce po ni NFA Administrator Judy Carol Dansal na mananatili silang bukas sa mahal na araw upang makakuha pa rin ng bigas ang DSWD at local government units para sa mga constituents nila na di makaalis ng bahay dahil sa ECQ. Aside from rice issuances, NFA warehouses will also continue to serve farmers and cooperatives selling their summer harvest and undertake full-blast milling operations of palay stocks to maintain our rice buffer stocks. Maraming salamat sa mga kawani ng NFA. Mga kababayan, may mga nagtatanong sa akin, nasa na ba tayo sa kampanya natin laban sa COVID-19? Ang sagot ko sa ngayon, di pa po tapos ang boxing. There are encouraging developments and signs that we have made inroads to containing this outbreak. But as we enter a critical period in our efforts to comprehensively assess the extent of this outbreak, we urge everyone to continue to be vigilant and do their part to prevent the spread of this disease. Practice social distancing or physical distancing, gaya ng sabi ng iba. Wash your hands, stay at home, go out only when absolutely necessary. Ngayong Miyerkules Santo, at sa bawat araw ng ating pagharap sa hamong ito, Sabayan po ninyo ang pamahalaan sa isang minutong panalangin at katahimikan para sa ating mga pamilya, sa ating pamahalaan, lalong-lalo na para sa ating mga frontliners na araw-araw sinusuong ang panganib ng impeksyon. Mailigtas lamang ang bansa sa panganib ng COVID-19. So mga kababayan, inaanyayahan ko po kayo sa isang minutong katahimikan para sa lahat. Bahay muna, buhay muna. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Together, we heal as one. Maraming salamat po, and may God bless each and every one of you. Sagutin ko na po yung mga katanungan mula sa media. Pero bago pong lahat, pinapa-clarify lang po yung sinabi ko kahapon. Although na-clarify na rin naman po yun, bagitin ko na lang din po muli. May mga nagtatanong kasi kung bakit, kung excluded ba yung 4Ps at mga senior citizens na tumatanggap ng social pension, ito mga indigent na senior citizens, dahil may nasabi daw ako to that effect. Hindi po. Ang ibig ko po sabihin, excluded sila sa Social Amelioration Card or SAC. Hindi na po sila kailangan mag-fill up ng SAC dahil kasama po sila doon sa database ng DSWD at nabigyan na po sila ng tulong ng DSWD. So, hindi po sila dapat bigyan ng Social Amelioration Card dahil bahagi na po sila ng Social Amelioration Package through a different channel, which is nga yung sa 4Ps dun sa kanilang cash card sa Land Bank, no? At yung sa indigent na senior citizens na tumatanggap ng social pension ay may paraan din ng pagbigay sa kanila mula sa DSWD. So yun lang po ang ibig natin sabihin. Pero syempre, sila yung nangangailangan, kasama sila sa Social Amelioration Program po natin. Mga katanungan mula sa ating mga kaibigan sa media. Okay. From Leila Salaveria of PDI. Has the IATF come to a decision on aid for the middle class? Wala pa po, pinag-aaralan pa po. What are the factors that it would consider in coming up with the decision? Ayoko pong pangunahan. How can the government ensure that helping the middle class will not hamper the distribution of aid to the poor? Yung para sa mga mahirap, marginalized, non-informal sector workers, sila po sa Social Amelioration Program po sila. Yung sa middle income or middle class po natin, ibang programa po yun. So, hiwalay po. Kaya hindi maapektuhan yung budget natin para sa ating mga mahirap na kababayan. From Chris Jose of Remate Online. Morning po. Holy Week na po, Miyerkules Santo. May kanya-kanyang panata at penitensya ang mga tao sa pinapatupad na enhanced community quarantine sa buong Luzon. Mahigpit na pinagbabawal ang paglabas sa kalsada ng walang pahintulot. Tama po yun. Mayroon po ba kayong mensahe o panawagan sa mga namamanata at sa sambayanang Pilipino rin po? Kailangan po ng matinding pagdadasal. Yan po talaga ang kailangan natin. So lahat po, kahit anumang reliyon, gamitin natin itong mga araw nito para sa pagsamba, pagpapasalamat sa ating Panginoong Diyos, ang Ama nating mahal, at ang paghingi po ng tawad, at ang paghingi po ng dispensa, at ang paghingi po ng tulong na masugpo na natin, tapusin na niya itong COVID-19 na ito. From Rosalie Cos, UNTV. May suggestions po na kung maaari raw pong gumawa ng ordinansa ang mga LGUs regarding po sa pagbibigay ng 25% sa pagbayad ng amilyar o real property tax at business tax. Ano pong posisyon ng ITF po dito? Hindi pa po namin napag-usapan ito. But pwede po naming pag-usapan. Be interesting to talk about this. May 30-day grace period po. And will be extended as extension ng ECQ sa rental fees. Pero syempre po, affected din po ang nagpapaupa. Tama po yun. Meron po bang tulong o ayuda rin para sa kanila? Opo. Obligado po ba lahat ng landlord na mabigay ng grace period? So siguro i-refer ko na lang po kayo sa DTI Memorandum Circular number 20-12, no? At kung may mga katanungan kayo, sa DTI po natin i-direct ang ating mga tanong. But basically, ito po yung guidelines on the concessions on residential rents, commercial rents of MSMEs. Pag sinabi pong MSMEs, yan po yung micro, small, and medium. Ibig sabihin, ang kanila pong total assets, including those arising from loans but exclusive of land, must have value falling between sa micro, not more than 3 million. Sa small, 3 million to 15 million. At sa medium, 15 million to 100 million. So, nakalagay po dito na a minimum of 30 days grace period shall be granted on residential rents falling due within the period of ECQ without incurring interest, penalties, fees, and other charges. Then, concession on commercial rents for MSMEs, a minimum of 30 days grace period shall be granted on commercial rents falling due upon MSMEs that have temporarily ceased operations within the period of ECQ without incurring interest, penalties, fees, and other charges. Pero, hindi po pwede mag-refund yung na-advance na. Kung meron ng rents already paid, wala pong refund yan, no? Number 1. And then, kung meron pong mga katanungan, pwede po kayong pumunta sa DTI, no? Nakalagay naman dito. And of course, kailangan ma-enforce ito. So yes, alam naman po natin na syempre, ito ay good news para sa MSMEs, yung nagbabayad ng upa. Pero syempre, yung sa nangongolekta, syempre, siya rin, problema naman siya kasi lalo-lalo na pag yan naman ang kanyang source of income, no? So, notwithstanding na may ganito pong nakalagay, siguro kailangan lang talaga na masinsinang self-assessment, no, sa bawat tao at bawat MSME. Na kung kaya naman ninyo magbayad, bayad na lang kayo. Although alam nyo na may ganito, no? Tapos, yung mga apektado dahil lessor nga, tas apektado siya kasi hindi naman siya nakakakolekta. Well, number 1, ito naman po ay grace period. Ibig po naman sabihin, babayaran naman kayo. Pero dahil nga sa nangyayari na ECQ, ang bayad, madedelay lang po ng 30 days. Kasi ang hiningi is 30-day grace period. So, hindi agad kayo mababayaran ngayon. Pero syempre, advantage yung naka-advance na, no? Pero ito, babayaran naman kayo eventually after the expiration ng grace period, no? Number 2. Number 3, meron din naman, alam naman ng cognizant naman ang DTI dyan, no? Mindful naman siya na may sitwasyon tayong ganito at syempre, you have to balance between the lessor and the lessee. That being said, meron namang hinahanda ang gobyerno through DTI na tulong din para sa ating mga negosyante. Kasi syempre, pag natapos na itong lahat, kailangan natin i-jumpstart ulit ang ekonomiya. At napakalaking bahagi po ng ating ekonomiya ang MSMEs. At hindi lang yung nag-lessees, pati ni rin ang lessor, kasama din po dyan, syempre. So, may hinahanda po na package ang DTI na makakatulong po sa ating mga negosyante, mga maliliit na negosyante lalo na, lessor man or lessee. So, pero yun, yung pag-jumpstart po niyan ay mangyayari after the ECQ kasi that's when we can slowly transition going back to business. Ano po? Sorry nawala na ako. Okay. From Belia Cariaso. Good day po. Para pwede niyo naman pong matanong kung paano naman ang na-stranded na OFWs na more than 20 days na naka-quarantine. Hirap din po sila. Yung iba, paalis pa lang na di natuloy. Yung iba, kararating lang. Paano naman po sila? Ang iba, walang pambayad sa renta. Ang iba, walang makain. Ang iba, baka psychologically drained na. Baka naman pwede sila tulungan ng pamahalaan, like partner with shipping lines and LGUs. Wala po kasi silang avenue to voice out their concerns. Ang ating OFWs na ganito po yung nararanasan ngayon, or ganito ang sitwasyon, paki-contact lang po ang inyong Overseas Welfare, no? Administration, yung OWA. Pati na, kung hindi, yung DOLE na rin po, tutulungan din naman kayo ng Department of Labor and Employment. So, OWA or DOLE, paki-contact lang po. Kasi, sila po yung inatasan na rin ng IATF na to take care of the concerns ng lahat ng ating mga kababayang OFW. From Sam Medenilla, Business Mirror. Aside from the hundreds of Filipino seafarers, may reports po na nakuha ang ITF on mass displacements of OFWs in countries hit by COVID pandemic like Saudi Arabia and UAE. Yung DFA po, yung inatasan natin na sila po yung sila po yung in charge na mag-monitor po nung sitwasyon ng ating mga kababayan sa iba't ibang bansa, no? At agad-agad naman, kung kailangan natin i-repatriate pa uwiin, ay nandun naman ang DFA, nakipagtulungan sa DOLE, sa mga labor attachés natin, sa OWA, POEA, lahat po ng ahensya ng gobyerno na maaaring tumutulong po. May mga sectors na po na kaya na-identify ang NEDA or IATF na pwede mag-employ ng mga nasabing displaced OFWs. Siguro yung tanong ninyo yung tungkol sa kahapon na sinabi ko, syempre hahanapan natin ng paraan yung mga displaced OFWs at lahat ng mga workers, no, kung wala namang opportunity for work, kung saan natin sila ilalagay, no? So kasama po yan sa ginagawa ng ating economic team. Nagbabalancing act po sila kung na-displace dito, saan natin pwede ilagay. Given also the limitation na syempre ilan lang ang mga manufacturing and other industries na allowed to operate, skeletal workforce pa. So it's really a balancing act. Pero syempre kasama sa planning ng way forward, anticipatory and forward planning, inisip na po natin kung ano yung mga i-jumpstart natin na mga industries, ano yung mga kinakailangan natin na mga workforce. So lahat po yan ay tinetake into consideration. Excuse lang. From Joseph Morong, GMA 7. how many middle-income households do we have? And how much can we give them in assistance? Ganito po yun eh. Yung basis natin nung pagbibigay ng social amelioration, based yan sa mga census natin. No? So, kung titingnan mo po, ano to eh, ang bansang Pilipinas, kung i-census mo or tingnan mo yung data, we are made up of 24 million families. Families po yan ha. 24 million families. Yan po ang ganito karami ang pamilya, mga pamilya ng bansang Pilipinas. 24 million families taking into consideration ang ating population. Kaya nga po, ang nangyari dito is based on the listahanan ng DSWD. Tama po yun. It's based on listahanan that was made and the census that was made in 2015. Okay. Pero based on that list, yung most marginalized families, yung nangangailangan ng tulong talaga, yung most vulnerable, most marginalized, yung mahirap na pamilya, is 15 million. So, 15 million families po yan. Okay. So, ang ginawa po ng ating gobyerno, kasama rin po yung Kongreso dito dahil kasama naman sila sa debate nitong Bayanihan to Heal as One Act. Naglagay po tayo ng contingency. Dahil, syempre, hindi naman malilimitahan sa 15 million yan. Syempre, 2015 census pati. So, ang ginawa, nagdagdag po sila ng 3 million. So, 3 million families. Kaya, naging 18 million po yan. So, 15 plus 3 equals 18 million families. Okay. So, kung 18 million families po yan, what is 24 million minus 18? 6 million, di ba? So, itong 6 million na to, ito na lang yung, kumbaga, balance natin. So, kung tatanungin mo ako, sino yung middle income, it's somewhere here, inside the 6 million. Of course, it's not 6 million families. It's less than that. Kasi syempre, meron namang high income, di ba? So, may high income, may middle income, may low income families tayo. So, kung low income families, dito tayo sa 18 million. Kung high income families, it's somewhere within the 6 million. Kung middle income, it's somewhere also within the 6 million. So, dito tayo mag-calculate. Ngayon, ito nga, nagtataka nga tayo na with 18 million families, tapos meron naman tayong 15 million families dun sa listahanan ng DSWD, dinagdagan pa natin ng 3 million, the LGUs are still saying kulang pa. Okay? So, ngayon, sabi nga ni Pangulong Duterte, okay, sige, tingnan natin, but we have to raise money somehow to find, kasi nagpapadagdag ang mga LGUs ng iba pang mga pamilya. So, hanap pa tayo ng pera para dyan, number 1. Tapos, number 2, yung middle income gusto din. So, magkakal tayo from the records, mula dyan sa 6 million, mag-estimate na naman po tayo. So, ganun po yung proseso. And I'd like to emphasize, at ito rin ang pinapa-emphasize din ng mga senators, mga congressmen, mula mga kaibigan natin mula sa Kongreso. It's families, hindi po individuals. So, yung pamamahagi po ng social amelioration card para makatanggap po kayo ng social amelioration package, pamilya po yung pinag-uusapan. In fact, kung babasahin mo po yung batas, itong Republic Act, ang nakalagay nga is households. So, pero para hindi na confusing, families na lang ang gagamitin natin as the reckoning point. Diba? So, pero ang point dyan is it's not individuals. It's 18 million families nationwide. Families po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. From Joseph Morong, GMA7, again, question number 2. Yesterday, you said no need for ECQ in Visayas and Mindanao, but there are some cities which have ECQ. What happens to them? Basta po may coordination sila with DOH and DILG. Okay naman po. Kasi, obviously, kailangan natin bigyan din ng leeway ang ating mga LGUs, no? To enforce a community quarantine within their area para hindi rin po sila magka-impeksyon ng COVID-19. Basta lamang meron silang koordinasyon with the Department of Health and with DILG. From Raymond Tinaza of Bombo Radio, PHAP President Rustico Jimenez said that private hospitals are not given PPE by DOH. Di ba dapat para sa lahat na ang PPE, whether public or private hospital under state of public health emergency? I'll have to check this pero ang alam ko, yung pamamahagi natin ng PPE at namahagi po kami ng PPE hanggang sa private. Alam ko yan, may records po kami. So, awan ko lang, namahagi ka. Anyway, we'll check this out with DOH, but nasa records po, namahagi kami kahit sa private po. In fact, DOH nga, di ba, was asking ng mga private hospitals, anong PPEs, ilang PPEs ang kailangan ninyo. So we've had this discussion, di ba, na I remember may nagtanong nga sa media sa akin na ang reklamo ng ibang mga private hospitals is, bakit hihingi pa ang DOH ng number of PPEs na kailangan? Dapat mas ina-anticipate ng DOH. Alam naman nila yung numbers, di ba? So, meaning to say, we've been giving out PPEs sa private hospitals po. From Tuesday New of DZBB, tama po ba na isang social amelioration card lang ang ibigay ng barangay health worker sa dalawang magkaibang pamilya na nakitira sa isang bahay lang? Well, hindi ko kasi alam ano yung nito ano yung hindi ko alam ano yung pinaka-specifics nito, no? Kasi mas masasagot ko to kung may specific talaga eh. In fact, lahat ng mga questions tungkol dito has to be specified talaga eh. Meaning to say, kung dalawang magkaibang pamilya talaga yan, in one house, dapat ibang social amelioration card kung ang pamilya naman ay qualified, no? Pwede po bang ipa-photocopy ang social amelioration card? Hindi po. Yung LGUs are even helping dun sa pag-print ng social amelioration card, pero hindi po photocopy, hindi rin po tatanggapin yung photocopy. From Joyce Balancio, DZMM, paano po makapag-follow up, apply for social amelioration kung hindi naman nag-house to house ang mga taga-barangay? May ilang matagal na naghihintay na makapag-apply for this pero tila hindi naman sila nabutan. Kanino dapat lumapit? Sa LGU po. Kung may mga reklamo sa LGU, kung hindi kayo makakalapit sa barangay, then sa munisipyo, sa bayan, sa mayor ng syudad, or sa governor, di ba? So sa LGU po lalapit. Pero ito hindi naman nag-house to house. Well, dapat kasi fini-fill up, no, house to house yung social amelioration. So dapat may house to house po 'yan. Anyway, let's refer that question to DSWD. Local officials are now pleading to the national government to come up with a clearer statement or guidelines as to who are really covered by the SAC to pacify the growing anger of their constituents on how cash aid beneficiaries are being selected. Barangay officials, they said, are being blamed for the DSW's given quota, and many are also being accused of corrupting the funds. Mayors and barangay leaders are now being asked by DSWD, IFDF, they can be allowed to divide or lower the dictated cash aid per family per region to increase the number of covered families. Meantime, governors are saying that the problem stems from the outdated list, which is a 2015 census, appealing to the national government to provide a master list of your identified beneficiaries. Sige, ganito to, no? Nag-create naman ng grupo si Pangulo to study all of these concerns, no, sa details. Number one, itong mga tinatanong ninyo. So kasama dyan yung DSWD, the Department of Finance, DBM, So, nag-create po si Pangulo ng grupo to study all of these concerns. Kaya nga, ang sinabi ko po kahapon, number one, ibigay nyo na yung requirements, no, sa lahat ng mga LGUs. Bigay nyo na lahat ng requirements. Yung pagpirma ng MOA, yung lahat ng mga requirements na sinabi ng DSWD sa inyo para masimulan na po natin ang pagbigay ng ayuda at tulong pinansyal. Ngayon, sabi ko nga, kung meron po kayong mga reklamo, concerns, mga beneficiaries na hindi naman naisali, no? Na sa palagay ninyo sila naman ay kwalipikado, then you report that to DSWD. Kasi yung grupo nga na binuo ni Pangulo, yun sila yung mag-aaral nung paano ba natin hanapan ng solusyon ito. Pero syempre, i-vet din namin yung listahan ninyo kung kwalipikado ba, no? At syempre i-run through natin yun sa database din natin to make sure na walang magdodoble at kung qualified ba sila. But the point is, meron po tayong appeal system. So ito pong lahat ng concerns ng ating mga LGUs, okay lang po yun, narinig po namin yung mga concerns ninyo. But in the meantime, we cannot wait. Hindi po tayo pwede maghintay, hindi rin po pwede maghintay ang ating mga constituents, di po ba? So ibigay na natin. And then ayusin na natin yung mga complaints, no, yung nagrereklamo. Ganun na lang po para lang makaumpisa na po tayo. Sorry, nawala ako. For middle class families, what would be our timeline for this? Sabi, we will be needing a new program and fund source. Kailangan pa ba uli ng new law for this? Will it be possible pa ba given na until April 30 lang extended ang ECQ? Hindi na po kailangan ng bagong batas. I think perusing through the law, no, ng Bayanihan to Heal as One Act, I think it's extensive enough to cover or look for a solution to this problem, no? Ang timeline natin, I don't know kung kailan matatapos, but they're working on it already. At we're seeing some proposals, possible proposals. Gaya ng sabi ko, hindi siya social amelioration, ha? I mean, right now, ang tinitingnan natin, hindi siya pwedeng social amelioration kasi social amelioration, if you read the law, no, nakalagay sa batas provide an emergency subsidy to around 18 million low-income households. So, hindi kayo papasok dito sa emergency subsidy. Kasi, batas po ito And, obviously, executive can only work with what Congress gives us sa executive. So, kaya tama yung tanong mo do we need another law? At this point, we can give other assistance to middle-income families. But not a social amelioration package. Well, not like this. Not as defined in letter C of Section 4. Diba? Will IATF still be conducting meetings this Holy Week? And may new resolutions be approved in the coming days? I really don't know. I mean, we're open. Obviously, kung kailangan magtatrabaho kami. Pero, actually, tinatanong ko nga yung mga nasa media kung gusto pa nila ng briefing tomorrow and Friday. Kasi ako, anything goes sa akin. If you want me to do a briefing tomorrow, okay lang. Kung ayaw nyo, okay lang din. Pwede na sa Saturday ulit. But, that's as far as my briefings are concerned. No? Pero yung meeting ng IATF, siyempre, kung kailangan namin magmi-meeting kami. Sinabi na yan ni Sec Lorenzana, I think sinabi na rin ni Sec Galvez, sinabi ko na rin yon. So, para sa bayan. From Prince Goles Politico, Abante. Reaction lang sa observation ni Senadora Laila de Lima na yung second weekly report ni Pangulong Duterte ay mas marami ang plano kaysa aksyong konkreto. Hindi naman yata fair yun. From Chris Jose of Remate Online. Natapos na po ang ilang linggong lockdown na pinairal sa Wuhan City, ang lugar na pinagmulan ng kaso ng COVID-19 na laganap ngayon sa mundo. Pinayagan na pong muli ang nasa 11 million na mga residente ng Wuhan na makabiyahe at makalabas ng lungsod. Reaction po sana. Hindi muna siguro ako magre-react sa mga patakaran at ng ibang bansa. No? So, sa atin po dito sa Pilipinas, na-extend po ng hanggang April 30 ang lockdown. Sa tingin nyo po, posible po bang matapos na rin ang lockdown sa Luzon after April 30? Salamat. Hindi ko po masabi. We'll take it one day at a time. Tingnan po natin. Pero gaya ng sinabi ko kahapon, ang kino-concentrate po namin ngayon is ma-increase yung testing capacity po natin, ma-isolate ang ating mga PUIs at ang mga patients natin with COVID-19, ma-isolate sila mula sa sa general population. So, dun muna tayo nagko-concentrate. And if we are successful dun sa dalawang aspeto na yon at sa iba pa mga aspeto, then that will help us make a decision pagdating po ng malapit na yung April 30. From Henry Uri, DZRH, may mga suggestions po na ang tulong sa middle class ay gawing libre na lang ang bayad nila sa kuryente, tubig at renta sa bahay ng 2 months. That covers April and May billing. Posible po ba ito? Tingnan natin yung mga legalities, kasi syempre those are private transactions, di ba? So although the utilities have a public aspect, pero yung mga renta, di ba, private transactions yung karamihan dyan eh. So like I said, ayoko pong pangunahan ang grupo na binuo ni Pangulong Duterte para pag-aralan po anong mga benepisyo ang maaari natin ibigay sa ating mga middle income earners. From Sherry Ann Torres, ABS-CBN. Number 1, local officials are now pleading to the national government to come up with a clear... Di ba nabasa ko na ito? Nabasa ko na po ito. Nabasa ko na ito. Number 2, countless middle-class families are also appealing to government to include them in the social amelioration program since many are now also jobless and have no means to support their needs or pay their bills. The situation gets more difficult for them with the extended ECQ. Is this possible, sir? Any government plans to help middle-class families? Any target date? Gaya ng sinabi ko, pinag-aaralan namin, like for instance, yung ginagawa ng DSWD is for non-formal, mga informal workers. Ang ginagawa ng DOLE is for the formal workers. Okay? So, yun po. So, kung may paraan din ang DOLE to give some sort of package sa formal workers, yun, dadaan natin doon. Meron din po tayong farmers. Yung farmers is from the Department of Agriculture. So, iba rin ng binibigay ng Department of Agriculture para sa kanilang farmers, no? So, iba-ibang ahensya, iba-iba yung packages na binibigay nila. That being said, ano ba ang programa para sa middle class? So, yun ang pag-uusapan natin. Number 1, we have to define who the middle class is, no? At hanggang saan ang middle class. Number 1. Number 2, pasok ba sila sa social amelioration if they lose their jobs? So things like that, no? Pag-uusapan natin, tingnan natin kung pwede, di ba? With that qualification, they lost their jobs, then we can either go through DSWD or through DOLE, or so ayokong pangunahan. Lahat yan ay kasama sa pinag-uusapan ngayon. From Bella Cariaso Bandera, pa-ask din kung government will also push for the extension of bills payment. Yung utility bills, na reprieve. Check ko ha. I-check namin. Ayoko ring magsalita na wala akong hawak na dokumento. From Tina Mendez, Philstar. Going into the 4th week of the ECQ, have we identified if how many of the population in Luzon really obeyed with the lockdown order? Well, Google, di ba? Google came out with I don't know if an app or its findings worldwide, no, based on yung pag-aaral ng Google kung how much of movement or activity per industry, no. So industry, residential. Ang understanding ko sa Google is that we did very well, no. Ang Luzon did very well in terms of bumaba yung malaking porsyento ang binaba ng movement sa industries at lahat nakikita dun sa residential. So meaning to say, if you look at that study, it means that almost everybody cooperated with the stay at home, no? In Metro Manila, there are about 13 million population. Baka 13 million yan pag working. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's 13 million. So marami kasi working dito but not living in Metro Manila. But anyway, what percentage of the population really followed the lockdown? We should study that, no? Anyway, we tasked the technical working group on IT solutions headed by DICT to look for IT technology and IT solutions that will help us sa IATF, no, in terms of policy and planning. So maybe we can ask the DICT if they can take a look at that, no, or look at yung movements. Siguro we'll talk to some people to help us define that. Number 2, what are the government's big ticket projects which can be shelved temporarily so that we can use the funds for efforts to fight COVID-19? How much funds are we targeting to augment the budget for COVID-19? Wala pa tayo dun. Alam namin that it's part of what's written sa law. The president can shift certain items in the budget para tugunan ang pangangailangan natin sa COVID-19. Pero wala pa tayo sa point na yan. Nandun pa tayo sa paghanap ng sources of funds na pwede natin gamitin. And si Secretary of Finance and Secretary of Budget and Management are really looking for ways and means to find other sources of funds. So we're not touching yung sa build yet. Wala pa tayo doon. And the reason for that, my friends, is that when we jumpstart the economy, malaking bahagi po ng pag-jumpstart ng ekonomiya ang build. Yun po ang makaka-rev up at jumpstart ng ekonomiya natin. Malaking bahagi po doon yung build. So, as much as possible, yun, naghanap pa tayo ng ibang means, ways and means. Follow-up from Joseph Morong, GMA7. Facilitated issuance of checks, meaning already in the hands of the LGUs. I'm reading what I'm supposed to read. So, saan ibang cities, Makati, Navotas, Valenzuela, DSWD na po ang sasagot. And these monies are for what again? For the social amelioration po, yung financial assistance. Details of disbursements, if possible, DSWD po. What is the basis for the amount? Yung indicative target beneficiaries. So yun po, lagi. Babalik tayo doon, yung indicative target beneficiaries. From Malu Escudero of Filipino Star ngayon, nabayaran na ba ng 1 million sa mga namatay na doctors, health workers? Tanungin natin ang DOH dyan. I'm not familiar with the question. Itong yung compensation of 1 million pesos shall be given to public and private health workers who may die while fighting COVID-19 pandemic. Let's follow up. Tanong ko. From follow-up from Tina Mendez, Philstar, kailan po maaring implement ang modified lockdown na binabanggit ni Sec Pernia? Thanks. Well, number one, si Sec Pernia at ang NEDA, sila po yung ating, di ba, technical working group ng IATF for anticipatory and forward planning. So that's forward planning, meaning to say, it can happen subject to, of course, yung IATF, no? Kasi yung IATF magde-decision dyan. Pag medyo minodify na po natin yung lockdown. But again, ang priority natin muna ngayon is yung testing capacity, yung healthcare capacity natin, health facilities, isolation. Once na-accomplish na po natin yan, lahat ng yan, ay doon na natin pag-uusapan yung modified, yung modification ng community quarantine natin. But again, just to manage everybody's expectations, yung sinabi ko kahapon, no, na social distancing will be a constant. Social distancing, yung wearing of face masks, yung laging paghugas ng kamay, disinfection, lahat po yun will be part of the new normal until we find a vaccine. And ayoko rin pangunahan, but anytime na makakita na naman tayo ng surge in one area, then enhanced community quarantine din tayo doon, di ba? So we have to dapat mabilis din yung reaction natin para contain agad, no? But things will be constant. Social distancing, physical distancing, hand washing, sanitizing, disinfection, wearing of masks, lahat po yan. Senate President Soto, this is still from Tina Mendez, I suppose. Senate President Soto has proposed the full implementation of national ID system to streamline and hasten distribution of cash aid to target beneficiaries. Will the government consider this? Alam niyo, yung national ID, lagi namin pinag-uusapan yan. But obviously, the challenge now is how do you implement it under these circumstances, di ba? It would have been very helpful, to say the least. But what's the update on DICT's proposed digital solutions to speed up subsidy distribution as well as contact tracing efforts? I'll follow up with the technical working group. Reestablishment of temporary... Number 2, reestablishment... Sorry kay Jen pala itong mga questions na to. From Jen Kabiling of Manila Bulletin. Yung kay National ID. And then this second question, reestablishment of temporary quarantine centers. What is the government's target number of hospital beds? When will the government move PUIs and PUMs to these centers? Well, ang alam ko, our Rizal Memorial Center yata should be ready now to accept some. So, and then the others, binibilisan na, like World Trade and PICC, binibilisan na. So, I think the target there is Sunday, I'm not sure, or Monday. Si Secretary Galvez would know more of this. Clarification lamang po, araw ng kagitingan po o Day of Valor bukas, yun din po ang simula ng ating pagbibigay, parangal at palakpak para sa ating mga frontliners tuwing hapon. Yes, ang pakiusap po natin is beginning tomorrow, but if you wanna do it today, please, by all means. Kung gusto niya nang simulan ngayong alas 4, yes, please. Let's do it. Joseph Morong, GMA. Paano nga kung may beneficiary na makakuha ng 8K from DSWD
plus DOLE plus LGU pa? No, hindi po. Kaya nga, ang DSWD po, sila yung magiging repository ng lahat ng database. So DSWD, di ba? May 4Ps, meron siyang 4Ps, meron siyang indigent, senior citizens, tapos yung isasubmit pa ng mga LGUs. Yung DOLE, meron siyang list. Yung DA, para sa farmers niya, meron din siyang list. Tapos namamahagi na rin ng DOLE, namamahagi na rin ng DA. Ang repository ng lahat ng yan is DSWD. I-centralize yung database. Diba? So, titingnan niya lahat ng yan. Ngayon, kung kailangan mag-top up, no? Top up tayo. Lalo na, kunyari, DOLE, 5,000 lang binigay. Dapat, sabihin natin, 8,000 yun. So, magta-top up pa siya ng 3,000. Yung DA, dun sa kanayunan, ang binigay is 5,000. Pero, dapat 5,500 yun or 6,000 doon sa kanilang region. So, tatap up pa natin yun. Tapos, so yun na, yung database. Hawak na ng DSWD, lahat ng database. Ngayon, yung mga LGUs, may mga sinasabit na mga pangalan dahil hindi na isama. So, yun, iraran natin sa database, tingnan natin, tugma ba, nagdoble ba, etc., etc. So, ganun po. Pero, yung social amelioration program by itself is only yung 5,000 to 8,000 cumulative per month. From Heidi Sampang, DZAS, pinayagan na po yung train works. How about road works habang lockdown? Wala pa yung road works. Every now and then, pinag-uusapan namin sa IATF yan. Pero syempre, nagwo-worry lang talaga yung ibang members ng IATF kasi pag sinimulan mo na, then you become selective which road works in particular. So, may mga nagsasuggest, ito lang, or yan lang. Tapos, syempre, once you start opening that kasi, bubuksan mo yan, simulan mo yan, hihirit na yung iba. So, pagbigyan mo, tapos hihirit na yung iba, pagbigyan mo. At least dun sa train works, defined na yung mga train works natin. So, kaya pumayag sa train works. But sa road works, yun. Anyway, it's up to, tingnan natin, it's up to April 30. And then, tingnan natin yung movements. Again, it's a balancing act talaga. From Mylene Alfonso, Bulgar, may seafarer na umuwi na. Sa bahay lang, pinag-quarantine for 14 days. Katwiran daw po dahil malapit lang sila. Yung mga malalayo lang daw ang ilalagay sa mga quarantine facilities. Ganun ba ang protocol? No. Hindi po. That's not the protocol. They're supposed to be housed in our quarantine facilities. Yun. Tapos na. Okay. So, sa atin pong mga tagapangasiwa sa lokal na pamahalaan, salamat po sa inyong pakikipagtuwang sa national government. Tunay nga po kayong kabalikat ng bayan sa labang ito. Maraming salamat po. Sa ating mga kababayan, maraming salamat po sa inyong pakikipagtulungan, sa inyong pamahalaan. Gaya ng sinabi na po namin, kayo po ang first line of defense kontra COVID-19. Bahay muna, buhay muna. At sa ating mga kasama, sa pagpapalaganap ng tama at napapanahong impormasyon at hindi po fake news sa iba't ibang mga media, outlets, sa TV, radyo, dyaryo at online, lalong-lalo na yung nakahook po ngayon, sa amin, maraming salamat po. At muli, hiningi po namin yung inyong dasal, masinsinang pagdarasal ngayong mga panahon na ito, at ang inyong malakas na palakpak at pagpapasalamat sa lahat ng ating mga frontliners. Sana po ugaliin natin itong dalawang bagay na to at gawain na to. Ang lubos na pagpapalakpak at pagpapasalamat at ang lubos na pagdarasal sa ating Panginoon. Daghang salamat, maayong buntag, and God bless and protect each and every one of us. Magandang umaga po.